Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be making Afang soup. Afang leaf, the Igbos call it okazi. Normally, traditionally in Nigeria, you would make the Afang with the okazi leaf and water leaf. But here I can't find water leaf, so I'm going to be using spinach, which is a very good replacement for water leaf. But before we start, I'm going to show you how I cook my meat first. I'm just going to describe to you what I have as my ingredients, and when the meat is ready, I will come back and do the main cooking of the soup. So in my pot, I have boiling, what is it called? Let me get my spoon. Okay, I have boiling in my pot. It's cow feet and cow skin or more. This two take a long time. I would have used my food process, my pressure cooker. This thing takes a long time to cook, so that is why I'm cooking it first. But my protein source, I'm going to be using chicken, cow stripe, which is the shaki. I'm going to be making use of some shrimp. I don't have what is it called, dry shrimp. I don't have periwinkle, so I'm going to be using this. I have some stockfish here, which I'll also be cooking, but this one gets tender easily, so I'm not cooking it first. I'm going to put every other thing in that pot when the cow feet is tender. I have some dry fish, my palm oil, my seasoning, salt, some seasoning, my dry fish, salt. Now the beauty of this soup is you keep it as simple as possible, but what gives it its taste, makes it tasty, is actually the protein source that you use. That is why it is good to have a blend and a mix of different protein sauce, but you can use whatever you want. And also my crayfish, blended crayfish. Now this is how I like cooking my meat. The meat I will use, I like seasoning it so that by the time it's boiling and cooking, it's absorbing taste from the seasoning. It doesn't come out tasteless, or the taste of the seasoning is at the outside of the meat. So normally I like seasoning it. And this soup does not need too much water. So even as I'm boiling this, I add water gradually. This thing is like going to cook with all of this water. I add water gradually. Once it goes down, I add water until it's tender. Then I can add every other thing. Some more. The afang or kazi leaf needs to be properly washed with enough water, because this thing tends to have sand in it. If you don't wash it properly, you might end up with having sand in your soup, and that is definitely not are gonna be a good thing. You can imagine the feel when you chew on sand. So you wash it with enough water. You don't wash and drain out the water. You have to wash the okazi and bring it out of the water. There will always be sand in it, so after washing, I basically use the food processor to blend my Afang okazi leaf, but this thing wasn't blending. It's very well dry, so I added a little water. So whatever water I'm adding now, I'm going to take it out from the soup itself by making sure that there is not too much water in the soup stock. Or you can also pound this thing, or you can blend it in the market, in your local market. You can also pound it. My frozen spinach has been washed, and then I squeezed out the water. All right, if you're using fresh spinach, please, it's going to give you a lot of water. So you have to also subtract that from the water you add to your soup stock, okay? But I prefer using frozen because I can control the water. It gives me what I want. Now I'm going to cut it some more. I have blended my Afang okazi leaf, squeeze out the water from my spinach and cut it down some more, washed my fish and deboned it, okay? And then because the meat I was using in my soup was kind of too much, so I reduced it a bit. So the next thing I'm going to do is add my oil. This soup needs a lot of palm oil, a lot. All right? I'm gonna add my fish, cook it for a while, but you have to be careful with this fish. Before I add my vegetable, I will need to take out the fish because it's gonna break up. But I want it to cook with the sauce so that it can absorb the flavor and the seasoning and what's not. And whilst that one is cooking, yeah, it's already breaking up. I'm just gonna put it somewhere. We're gonna get the taste. I'm gonna add some more blended crayfish. Some salt. But you have to taste for seasoning before you begin to add all those things. Some adobo seasoning. But me, for this one, I use this adobo seasoning, and I also use Maggi crayfish, and then my sea salt. I like putting it out in my hand because this thing can be disgraceful. I don't want to just stir the pot because of the fish. They're going to break up if I stir them. And the cow feet that I cooked, when it was cooked, I brought it out and then I chopped it up in little, I cut it up in little pieces. I didn't leave it whole. But the ones that has too much bone to it, I left a little meat on the bone and just left it there. The next is my shrimp, so that I don't forget. But the shrimp is already pre-cooked, so. You see what happened? Because there was no water in the vegetable, it has absorbed all the water in the soup, which is what we are looking for. We're just going to be turning this for a while so that it doesn't burn, because there's not much water inside. Okay, time to add our Afang or kazi leaf that has been blended in the food processor. So we are ready. Don't overcook your vegetable, okay? We are ready. I'm just going to add my fish. Stir gently. Stir it in gently. Okay, it's ready.